Alright folks, it's that time again. I think we can all guess what's going to happen here. We need to take it up a notch and find out a little bit better than we did previously just what our trusty CALB grey cell can do. So to that end, we have set up the cell with the 1500 amp shunt on it and 20 by 10 copper flat bar straight onto the terminals. This time we've got a bucket of water here, and inside the water, I hope we can see, we have a 20mm spanner this time. I'm trying to destroy the spanners that I use the least, so after 18 I think a 20 is the next big size that generally doesn't get used. So we've got it clamped on one side with a vice grips, and I've got a bit of plastic in there just keeping it from touching the other bus bar, but we'll get another vice grips on that and see what happens. So as before, we have the JLD 404 measuring current and amp hours. We have another JLD meter there measuring voltage, and we have a fluke thermometer with a J-type thermocouple on the top of the cell to measure temperature. You can see the temperature is currently 11.9 degrees centigrade and dropping, just because it's quite cold out here now in the garage. So we are going to pretty much apply a very large load to this cell. And we're going to see what the voltage, current and temperature end up as. So I'm going to try and get the camera set up to give me the best possible view of the meters, which with my marvellous camera here is just not exactly the easiest thing in the world to do. Let's try that, might be a bit better. There we go. I think we're pretty good at that. If I could straighten it up a tad. There we go. So we can now see the voltage and current that we're going to be monitoring from the cell. And if I don't die on the first attempt, or don't get my hands blown off or something, then we'll see if we can monitor never can't find anything in this place, still haven't got it quite the way I want it. We'll see if we can if we can hold a high sustained current and see what happens. There we go. Have to be around there somewhere. Right. So we are on and we're ready to go. So okay then. Need another vice grips. Need a little bit of luck because this could get very ugly. This could well end up being my last transmission, folks. I'll try and tighten the vice grips a bit. Well, there's 2000 amps. Things are warming up on a rather grand scale here in the old water butt. Okay, I'm going to stop the test at that and we go under 2 volts on the cell. Oops, silence please, JLD, thank you. So, that was scared. Okay, That was very scary. But we did manage to hold 2,000 amps out of the cell. So, the risk of getting myself in trouble, beat that one, Jack. Okay. What I'm going to do now is, we know that a 20mm spanner will give us 2,000 amps. So let's see if we can get down around about the area that I'm interested in, which would be around 1,000 amps, 1,200 amps. Now, just looking at the display on the thermocouple, we're up to 13.8, 13.9, now coming up to 14 degrees centigrade. So our cell has definitely warmed up, as you might reasonably expect after that'd be what, 10C would be 1,800 amps, so probably around 11C capacity. Right, so we'll be back with a smaller spanner after these words from our sponsors. Okay guys, we're back. As we can see, our temperature on the cell is peaking at just around 22 degrees centigrade. And we have now set up with a 9/16 spanner. So, without further ado, and pontificating from me, let's crank up the amps. We're on current, are we? Yeah, we're on current on the JLD, so I'm going to get this insulator out of here now, which is never easy, of course, underwater. There we go. Oops. Oh dear. Oh, there's a kind of a plasma, kind of an underwater plasma going on here. Very interesting. Wow. Well, there's 1,500 amps anyway. This underwater plasma is quite fascinating. Well, there you go guys, 9/16, okay, gets you 1,500 amps. With a little bit of plasma going on. I might as well. Let's have a look at that bit of plasma just for a bit of fun and games there. Yeah, there's the plasma. Quite interesting. Back to the meters. So yeah, 1,500 amps doesn't seem to be any real problem for this. You get closer to those meters. Sorry about the beeping, by the way. I have yet to remember how to turn off that feature on the old JLD. Well, she's holding 1,500 amps at 2.5 volts. Certainly getting the water warmed up. Let's turn off that beeping. Silence JLD. The water is, well, there's kind of kettle sounds coming out of the water, guys. Wow. The plasma is still plasmaing. The 9/16 I think is definitely the load of choice for your battery testing, by the way. Cell temperature on the casing is now just going over 24.5 degrees Celsius. So I think that will definitely have you up to the speed of sound at this stage now if you were accelerating with a large pack. The water's warming up quite nice. Handy for giving my hands a wash when I'm finished this test. I wonder what the amp hours look like with that kind of power coming out. Wow. Now I put 170 amp hours into this cell yesterday, so it's dumping them out at quite a rate of knots there. Now 27 Celsius on the cell. Let's go back to current. We're still just over 1,500 amps. There's interesting kettle sounds coming out of there. We're at 28.5 Celsius on the cell. There's now steam starting to emanate from the water. The plasma is still plasmaing, you know, plasma reactor and all that. Well, I think it's safe to say that these grey cells will make a car move. We're now at 30 degrees centigrade on the cell casing. Oh, plasma just stopped. Oh well. I guess something created a bit of resistance in there, so silence please, JLD, thank you. I guess that's the end of our 9/16 test. Let's see if we can get it out of there now. That'll be the next challenge. But that said, at least the water is warmer, so I won't be freezing my hands off. Oh, the water is a lot warmer. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So there you go, and we're back to 3.2 volts. Let me see if I can get that spanner out of there. Oh, hot, 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 hot. Wow. The spanner is actually in surprisingly good condition, apart from that jaw there that had a bit of plasma action on it. So, you see, I knew there was another use for these spanners that aren't much good for acting on bolts and threaded components. Cell temperature 34.9, still climbing, just hit 35. I think that that's us good to go, folks. Clocked quite a few amp hours out of the cell, but it still seems voltage just sprung right back up. So yeah, that worked well. So what I'll do is I'll come back when that temperature peaks out. We'll just record that, and then I'll shut the hell up and find myself another 59 of those cells somewhere. Alright guys, just to wrap it up, our peak cell temperature is looking like about 45 degrees Celsius on the side of the case. It's kind of leveling out at that and starting to drop back. So that is it for the latest in the CALB high current discharge testing. So we'll see how we get on as the build progresses, and as we get more of these cells in. I'm going to need a total of 64 of these cells, believe it or not. 60 for traction and 4 for 12 volt systems. And yeah, so we'll see what we get, and Happy New Year to one and all.